Macchiato. How many cups of macchiato do you have in a day? Probably coffee. Somebody's having 5. I'm seeing 3. How many? 1 over here. There is 5 over there. That means everybody's having too much of it. And it could be soft drink, tea, coffee, whichever the thing is. The issue is how much money do you put on that? If you actually calculate it, probably the most decent places, they charge you around 5 to 7 for a macchiato, right? That's nice. Calculate it in a day, in a week, in a month, and you would have a large sum of money at the end of the month. Now, let's just put this one on the other end. I'm going to take you to a place that I've been once some years back. It is in the suburb of Mercato, in a place called Quasmeda. This is where kids from the age of 5, probably to the age of 19, 20, spend their night. But it is not like the cozy place that you sleep at right now. There is no bed, but it is like an attic. It is just like a ground plus 1 place for an ordinary place. But they organized it in a way that a number of people could sleep in there. In a 2 by 4 meter square area, you would find probably from 16 to 18 youngsters and kids sleeping. They pay 4 birr for a night. You have no idea how colorful that place is. I was graced by my 4 birr by that day to spend the night there with them. It was a very colorful night because the farts, the snoring and everything, it was an orchestra that was beyond that you could imagine. There was love, there was joy, and there were dreams in those places. These guys were guys that carry your belongings when you go out from a taxi. These are the kids that shine your shoes at the morning and in the daytime. These are the people who strive every day. Within just 14 birr, you could survive in their neighborhood. Have a breakfast, a lunch, dinner, and a cozy place to sleep. And that 14 birr, for you, is just like 2 macchiato. Now the question is, if we give up a cup of macchiato, probably if we are having 5 to 6 cups in a day, if we could give up what? If we are having a dozen of them in a week, if we could only give up 2 of it, how many kids could you give a cozy place to sleep at? That happened some years back. For the sake of this speech, I had to go there again and see how things have changed. Because there is inflation, things are actually mounting up. So as our coffee prices are going up, the same was true about the places that they sleep at. The place that I spent the night 2 years back now costs 6 birr with a lot of termites and everything in it. And then it was from 15 to 18 people sleeping in that place. Now it is over 20 people in that 2 by 4 place. You can imagine how suffocated that could be. And you could imagine how many people are actually having sicknesses, diseases. TB is actually a growing disease now because it has mutated into a different phase. The food, there is no cheap food at this time in their neighborhood because the least price that you pay is 8 to 10 birr for a plain churro. A churro that does have only the churro and water. No oil, no butter. Butter is a dribbler, so you don't think about it there. But they are the happiest people. They are the people who enjoy their days and their life with utmost satisfaction. it is a kind of life that they lead it with felicity. They enjoy it. It is blissful. And I said, sleeping in our cozy beds, having our loved ones, if you have one, I don't, around you, you can imagine the comfort of it. I'm not saying that we should give up our own comfort. I'm not saying that we should go poor for them, because one of the most aspired speaker, Dr. Wayne Dyer, once said, you can't be poor enough to make somebody wealthy, and you can't be sick enough to make somebody healthy, and you cannot be sad enough to make somebody really, really happy. But you could share it. You could give what you have, at least some of it. Spare your cup of macchiato today. Give it to somebody who might need it better than you. Not the macchiato. Give him that option to live today in a better way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mekdela, for making your speech at the last minute. We appreciate that. And I say, don't spare your macchiatos. Make the macchiatos yourself. You know, cheaper, and you can spare the money for all the things that he has mentioned.